right, good morning, everyone, and welcome to part two of the Airlink Communications webinar series. Today, we'll be exploring understanding VPS services. My name is Nikhil, and I am part of the business development team for data center services here at Airlink Communications. We are delighted to have each and every one of you join us for what promises to be an insightful and engaging session on VPS services and VPS hosting. We are fortunate to have a distinguished panel of experts with us today, Mr. Ricardo Ragbear, Business Unit Head of Airlink's Data Center Services, Mr. Pranama Prasad, our Technical Research and Sustainability Officer, and Mr. Alim Hussain, our Network Engineer. Before we dive into our discussion, a few housekeeping items. If you have any questions during the presentation, please put them in the chat box. We will address them during the Q&A segment at the end of the presentation. Also, please note that we will be recording this morning's session. Now, without further ado, I am pleased to hand you over to our main speaker for this morning's session, Mr. Ricardo Ragbear.
Thank you, Nikhil, and welcome to everyone. As Nikhil would have said, this is our second webinar in our Let's Talk About series, where we try to bring educational material to the public regarding technology and especially what we do here at Airlink Communications and our data center and data center services we offer. By way of an agenda this morning, we will be touching on a little bit about who we are, as we do with each seminar, with each webinar, and we will then get into understanding our VPS service, our virtual private server environment, how you can use it to your benefit, what key differentiators there are in what we offer into the marketplace. And then at the end, we do a small live demonstration on how easy it is to sign up with us. So we actually take you through the website and take you through the sign-up process so you can see how you go about signing up. So having said that, let's get into our agenda. A little bit about who we are, Airlink Communications. So we have been in operation since 2009. Data center services have been around with us since about 2018. The business is really divided into residential and commercial services. We initially got into the marketplace as a residential internet and cable TV service provider, and that is still a core part of our business today. At the back end of that, we do have what's called a ANSI rated 3 data center, one of 5 in the Caribbean and one of 3 in Trinidad. And at this data center, we offer our cable and internet services, but we also do commercial internet, commercial television, data center services such as co-location, cybersecurity services, virtual private server, and a host of other services that that are going to be part of different webinars. And we do provide managed services out of our data center in the SMB space, productivity suites, and also we do manage video services. Something that's very unique to us, where we do provide content channels to all of the local cable operators in the country. We are responsible for the bringing down some of the major sporting events that are taking place within the Caribbean, CPL, NBA Finals, World Cup, etc. So we have been playing in this space since 2009, and 2018, we started to offer new services out of the data center to include what's called virtual private server services. So exactly what is a VPS and our understanding of it, and really in simple language, it's really the ability to use a single server and use it, have multiple people or multiple clients utilize the same server infrastructure. It's a server that employs special virtualizer technology or virtualization technology that helps split the resources of the server in such a way that clients get pieces of compute and power assigned to them for their specific use. There is a difference between a virtual private server hosted solution and a shared hosted solution. And we wanted to differentiate that very quickly. In a shared hosting environment, what happens is that everybody utilizes the resources of the computer system. So everybody, it's analogous to you being in an apartment complex, and the common areas, perhaps there's a common kitchen, a common pool, a common backyard, and everybody has to utilize that depending on its availability and what have you. Whereas in a virtual private server environment, resources are dedicated to the client through the virtualization technology. And that's the marked difference between a virtual private server environment and a shared hosting environment. And of course, the virtual private server environment is more affordable than a dedicated server, simply because economies of scale come into play. We have a single server being utilized by multiple clients, and therefore the cost of the server gets spread amongst these multiple clients. Hence, economies of scale come into play, and therefore the prices are more affordable. Why would you want to look at utilizing a virtual private server environment? Well, as I just mentioned, the cost effectiveness is it's much more cost effective than having to go and purchase a dedicated server for yourself for the reasons I just described. But separate and apart from that, because the environment is managed and controlled by Airlink, we are responsible for scaling that environment depending on the number of clients, depending on the number of resources they would like. And we are the ones now responsible for scaling that environment to suit our clients' needs. So it's a responsibility that's taken away from the client. You don't have to worry about whether you have to plan for an upgrade in a couple of months, a couple of weeks, a couple of years as such. That's our responsibility. What's another responsibility for ours is to provide that environment in a secure manner. We all know with the increase in cyber attacks taking place, it's an onerous engagement to be sure or to ensure that your computer environment is protected. That's a responsibility that we have that's baked into our DNA. It's part of our services. And so you can rest assured that our environment is continuously monitored, tracked, upgraded, and we are always looking at the new threats that are happening worldwide on data centers, and we are preemptively configuring ourselves to be resilient to those attacks. Likewise, the scalability, as I mentioned before, and the performance of the VPS environment, that becomes our responsibility. We have to ensure that the performance of the environment matches what the clients expect and their expectations. And therefore, we would have to do constant monitoring of the environment to look at the CPU utilization, the RAM storage utilization, our connectivity, our bandwidth utilization, and we would have to adjust and improve upon it depending on the utilization that's taking place at any given point in time. So again, it's a responsibility that falls on us. We take that away from the client. And one of the areas that we are proud of, and we will get into a small discourse on that, just to provide some context with regards to energy efficiency and sustainability. As you know, data centers throughout the world are responsible for impacting climate change. We do have a large carbon footprint. And one of the initial steps that we took in order to mitigate that impact we have in the environment with regards to our campus, we have been diligently looking for ways to apply sustainability to our operations. We have planted a number of particular trees that help with pulling carbon out of the atmosphere and converting that into oxygen. You will find those trees all over our campus. We've also invested heavily in some more vegetation, some grass vegetation to help provide stability to the slopes that we're in, the soil that we're in. We also have taken a decision that we are going to procure green equipment as much as possible. So we look to do business with green vendors. And there is a slide that we will come to in a couple of minutes, and our technology and sustainability officer, Purnima, will provide some more information on that. However, I would like to point out as well, we do have someone in regards to Purnima who has a master's in sustainability, and he will talk a bit about that when he gets onto his slides. But it just demonstrates our commitment to balancing the equation in terms of we know the impact that the data center has on the environment, and we are doing all that we can in order to minimize that impact or to balance that impact. So just quickly, in terms of some key features of what a VPS platform brings to you, and in particular our VPS platform, we are a rated 3 data center. That's an ANSI TIA specification. I know that there's another specification in the marketplace where it speaks to tier rating. We are not tier rated. We are rated 3, and rated 3 takes into account our telecommunications, our electrical, our architectural, our mechanical, and our security operations. And that rated 3 certification says that we can operate concurrently and that we have 5 nines of reliability at our data center. What that means is that any one of those systems the primary system can go offline and our data center will continuously work because we have secondary systems built in. And that's where we talk about high availability and uptime. In essence, we are not supposed to have more than 26 minutes of downtime a year. And really, we strive to keep all of our systems. We do regular maintenance of our systems to make sure they can operate concurrently. They're tested every month to ensure that if the primary fails, the secondary will be able to run. And it speaks to the commitment we have and that certification, which we do not take lightly. It's been a certification that we pursued 3 years ago, and we were very happy to have received the certification. And every year we're audited in terms of our operations to ensure that we still adhere to the requirements of that certification. So that speaks to our high availability and our uptime. In terms of being able to manage your VPS platform, because it's a subscription service that you go into and you sign up and it becomes your piece of architecture that you manage. You have full root access and full control over it. You can run whatever operating system that you need to run, and then you utilize it in the manner in which you need to utilize it. Of course, there are some user acceptability policy guidelines that we provide, and we do have some some watchguarding taking place to ensure that we don't have any sort of criminal activities taking place on our system. The systems are customizable. The VPS environment, we do have some standard packages that are available, and you will find that we will present those packages in a little bit. I think it's 5 packages that we have. But outside of that, we are a very nimble and agile team, and we work with our clients to understand their business. And there are some customizations that we have done specific to environments that customers need, and we are very flexible in that regard. And then, by virtue of being a part of our data center, that whole VPS environment is backed up on-prem and off-prem. We are a member of the Caribbean Data Center Association, and that is a group of data centers in the Caribbean that have agreed that we will be connecting our data centers together in order to provide disaster recovery and business continuity at an elevated level. That's a process that's taking place right now. The association is getting the policies together. We've been exploring ways of connecting the data centers. So that's something that that's something very, very worthwhile to look out for in the future. Yeah. So those are some of the features that we present as part of our VPS platform. I will turn it over to Pranama to talk a bit about how VPS and sustainability work hand in hand, and what we are also doing as part of our own initiatives towards sustainability. So Pranama, I'll hand it over to you now.
Hi, good morning again. Thanks. So what I want to talk about this morning, and Ricardo has rightly said, he gave a little insight as to sustainability and what we do here at Airlink, along that line. Well, right now, with all the conversations about sustainability and climate change floating around worldwide, including here in the Caribbean and, well, within our own country, Trinidad and Tobago, and the fact that we are currently reaping the direct consequences stemming from runaway carbon emissions. For example, we are experiencing and will continue to experience stronger and more frequent storms and hurricanes as a direct result of climate change. As another example, by the way, just this morning, one of my colleagues who is heavily involved in this webinar, he messaged to say that he could not make it to the office due to flash flooding in his area. Now, of course, we know garbage and lack of cleaning of the waterways can increase the risk of flooding. But the other part that most people, don't know much about is that climate science has shown that an increase by 1 degree in the temperature of the Earth's surface results in a 7% increase in the evaporation of water from water bodies, which results in the formation of supersaturated clouds. So when the conditions are right for rainfall, what this means is that the volume of water falling in the same amount of time as in the past would increase by 7%. And hence, this is why we would get flash flooding. And this is expected to continue. So we found that customers, investors, and other stakeholders are all asking questions, rightly so, regarding carbon emissions, while international treaties and national governmental policies are demanding a shift towards cleaner and more efficient, more carbon efficient operations. Surely it is clear that we need to reduce our carbon emissions. So let me share some good news here in that a VPS is an energy efficient, sustainable server solution. And how so, you may ask? Well, remember, as Ricardo said, a VPS allows a single physical server to be split or to split its resources into multiple instances, with each instance operating on its own as if it were a separate server. So this means that when multiple servers or users, I should say, each use their own VPS on a physical machine or server, the power consumed by the single machine is distributed amongst all VPS users. Hence, your use of VPSs effectively reduces your power consumption as compared to if you were using a dedicated server instead. Now, providing that fossil fuels are used as a fuel source for generating the electricity used by the VPS server, then the associated scope 3 emissions are also reduced. Now, by the way, if you're wondering what scope 3 emissions are, basically, they are the emissions produced by assets not owned or controlled by an organization, but affects its value chain and resulting from both downstream and upstream activities that are not directly under the organization's control. All right. So in Trinidad, based on our current energy mix, natural gas is used as the fuel source for electricity generation. And for every 1 kilowatt hour of electricity generated, that it releases 0.52 kilograms of carbon dioxide into the atmosphere. Now, going back to the VPS, so if you were to say lease a single dedicated server rated at around, let's say, at 400 watts with an average power draw of, say, 50%. In 1 year, this server will consume around 1,750 kilowatt hours of electricity and would be responsible for the release of 911 tons of carbon dioxide. That is a lot. But instead, if you were to use a VPS on a server machine, say rated at the same 400 watts, and for simplicity's sake, let's say it's running 10 similarly spec'd VPS instances to keep the calculation simple, right? On average, your single VPS server will consume 350 kilowatt hours. Now compare that, wrong figure, 175 kilowatt hours for the year, and will produce 91.1 tons of carbon compared to a single server producing 911 tons of carbon. So we see there's a 1/10 reduction in the amount of carbon emitted, right? And similarly, if there were 5 VPS instances on the same server, your single VPS will produce 180 tons of carbon, and so on. So for reasons just explained, VPS usage can help reduce your organization's scope 3 emissions as it relates to its IT operations. And therefore, it is an excellent choice for the environmental aspect of your ESG reporting, ESG being environmental, social, and governance reporting, as it relates to your annual carbon emission targets. So Thank you for your time. I'll pass it back to Ricardo.
Thanks, Punama. Remind me again, what's the name of those trees that we've planted around the campus?
Moringa,
Moringa, yes,
known
the
locally
moringa.
as Saijan. Yeah.
Yes,
Yeah,
yes,
they adult trees absorb or sequester around 80 kilograms of carbon per year, which is one of the largest sequestration values available for any tree around the globe. And
right.
that is the trees we have planted around the campus.
Yes, thanks. The name escaped me. So thanks again on that very informative and contextual piece on how we, in addition to doing the external things, by the nature of our very operation, that is providing VPS services, we are also looking to impact the effect that we have on the environment as well. So thanks again for that. Let's just talk a bit. So we've spoken about a VPS being an environment or a system where the servers resources are divided and shared to clients, and represents a more efficient way of utilizing scarce resources. Now let's talk about how we can use that environment. So yeah, so we have a VPS environment. Yeah, we're offering a virtual private server environment. How can I use that as a client? One of the more popular uses has been for website hosting, database servers, email servers, where the SMB space in particular, because there's this need to offload that IT infrastructural need and configurations and administration to a third party, i.e., our VPS server environment. You find that a lot of the business productivity and operational software, business software, is put into this environment, and the SMB space is now able to focus on what their core businesses can be. So in other words, they pass the IT responsibility over to us. We have our VPS environment, our virtual private servers. They can subscribe to a server package, and they can now run their business out of our data center as though it will be run at their location. And some of the most popular things that they do with the productivity suites, like I said, the database servers for storing of their information on their data. They may not want to have any email servers on-prem, so they pass that into the VPS environment. The emerging uses of the virtual private server environment, though, has to do a lot with sandboxing. So it's an environment that can be used by developers and testers who want to create packages, create some sort of software, and they want to They want to have computing power in order to, to test what they've been developing. And so that sandboxing type service has been an emerging service coming out of the VPS environment. And it would be remiss of me not to talk about AI at this point. And as you all know, artificial intelligence requires a huge amount of computing power on the back end. And our VPS environment, I'm happy to say, is evolving towards being able to provide AI sandboxing, artificial intelligence sandboxing. So data analysis and machine learning become a service that we can offer out of the data center. The evolution is moving from VPS CPUs into VPS GPUs, and that's very quickly coming to market. We expect that we will be there over the next 2 weeks, and so that's something for the market to look forward to. Other areas of use of the VPS environment, like I say, if we talk about the SMB space and they're looking to have their website hosting, their email server, their database servers, storage and backup for BCP, for business continuity, and for disaster recovery, there's also a very key service that can be offered out of a VPS environment, or the environment can be used for that particular service, where you need to have offsite backup of your data. Why not have it in a RAID 3 data center that has a network of data centers associated with it, so that you can back up your backups? And we have found that that has also been a very requested service from the SMB space. Gaming and web application hosting. So if you have some online business that you want to run or an idea for an app, again, the environment that we are providing is an environment where you can test that app, you can run the app, you can do pilots of the app, beta testing, and then you can actually, subscribe to one of the VPS packages, and then you can run that app from there. And there you have your own entrepreneurial app business taking place for whatever unique service or unique need your app caters to. So all in all, it really provides a technology test bed where entrepreneurs, developers, people working in the technology space can subscribe to and utilize as though it's theirs and they own it, for whatever capabilities they need to enjoy. And it's a very exciting space as well, in that, as we had alluded to earlier, you remove that technology burden and you get to focus on what your core business could be. And it's a very supportive environment as well. Our business was born out of an entrepreneur's mind. Our CEO started this business in 2009, just simply out of a need for internet services in the Princeton area. And through that need, he would have experimented and evolved the business from its humble beginnings to where it is today. And one of the key pillars of our organization is to provide that same environment to young entrepreneurs out there who want to be able to do the same thing. And through our data center and through our VPS or virtual private server environment, we are able to do so. Yeah. So just to provide you with, and this is available at our website, airlinkdc.com. We've got 5 packages there that we offer based on these standardized configurations. In a little bit, we'll go through how we can actually navigate the website and be able to sign up for these packages. I'm pleased to announce as well that as a reward for attending this seminar or this webinar today, we are going to offer 50% discount on all of the packages for the next 3 months. Meaning you get 3 months of service at 50% the prices you see here once you sign up within the next 2 weeks with us. So we do have a note of the persons that have been contacting us and who have attended today. And if you want to sign up for a package, you can do so over the next 2 weeks, and you will be able to get a discount coupon that will allow you to benefit from a 50% discount on all of these packages for the next 3 months. And we hope that you guys take advantage of this because it's a really, really good offer. And it allows you to start, getting into the digital world, get your digital presence started, and see the benefits from operating in this modern way that we've been forced to operate post-COVID. So the competitive edge that we offer here at Airlink. Now, of course, we are a cable and internet company as well as a data center company. And therefore, we have to have 24/7 customer support in place. So we do have a network operating center that's manned 24/7, and they are responsible for monitoring all of our technology systems, ensuring that they're operational. If we have any issues, they're the first responders that get involved, and their pulse and their fingers are always on the pulse of the network. They are well supported by our customer service help desk. They operate remotely as well as out of our facility here in Princeton, and they are a key gear in our engine that works well with the network operating center as well as our technical staff in order to ensure that our systems continue to operate and we continue to provide quality service to our customer base. This all happens through that certification or certified data center that I keep speaking of. It's unique to the Caribbean in that I said there were 5 other data centers that have the certification. And in Trinidad, we are actually one of 3 data centers that do. A lot of the other data centers that you will hear, most of their tier 1, tier 2, tier 3 certifications. and it's another system of certification in parallel to what rated 3 is. And therefore, the good news is that for Trinidad, all of our data centers have been pursuing these certifications, which bind us to providing the types of services um, in a reliable way to our customer base. One thing that we speak of regularly is data sovereignty, and we are local. We are based in Princestown, so there's no need to have your data leave the country and go to any other jurisdictions that may find itself, you know, being requested to be looked at. Um, our tag for some of our business ventures has been always to support local. And being a local homegrown business, it's always our intention to support our local market. And hence we do, play quite a significant part in developing or improving the digital index of the areas in which we provide our services. And then because of the nature of how we operate and our nimbleness, we do get involved in a lot of customizable solutions. We do have our standard solutions, but at any point you can speak to our technical team if there's any particular configuration you need or any idea that you have for any business that you need to run and you need to get some guidance in terms of how the technology will work and how our technology can help and how we can adjust our technology to suit your needs. That is something that we're very flexible on as well. And I think it does bring a further benefit to our customer base, knowing that we're here to help. We're here to assist based on our knowledge. We're here to assist you in being able to realize whatever business stream that you're looking for. And that is supported by our managed service offerings out of the data center, VPS being one of them. I would have alluded earlier to things like our services like co-location, our managed cybersecurity, our managed video services, our storage as a solution service, our productivity suite that we're launching soon, our AI, our virtual private AI environment. And we're always evolving. We're always looking to see what we can add, what's relevant to the marketplace. And so every year we pride ourselves on being able to at least start one new service and continue to keep the others that are running efficiently and with high availability to our customer base. I just got a few more slides, and then we will. Right. So I think this is actually where we talk about the simple sign-up process with us. So I'm assuming, guys, I will pass on to, is it Aleem that I pass on to take us through a sign-up for a VPS?
Yes, thank you,
Yes.
Ricardo.
Yes.
And good morning.
So let me stop presenting, Aleem. So I've stopped and you can go ahead.
Okay, so as Ricardo said, the sign-up process for our VPS is pretty straightforward. This is our website, airlinkdc.com. From here, we'll go into solutions and VPS hosting. Here we have some information regarding our VPS platform, which you can read if you wish. And to the bottom is where you will see our plans. There are 3 plans at the moment, and Ricardo mentioned there are 5 plans. The other 2 will be added soon. So you can see the plans and the resources allocated to each. There are monthly and yearly plans. Of course, if you choose one of the yearly plans, the cost per month is less. So for this demo, we'll choose the basic plan. So it will redirect you to this page where there is some information for you to enter. First of which is the host name of your server. You can leave it as is with this name that we generated randomly, or you can enter your own host name. Root password for your server. If your server requires a public IP, you will choose this option, whether 1 or 2 IPs. We'll choose 1 IP here. Your operating system, we do have various Linux flavors and Windows. We will choose Ubuntu 22 and continue. This page, you will review your order. Once everything is correct, we will check out. Here, you will enter your personal information and the billing information. This password is for your account, which would be your client portal. The client portal is where you will log in to access your VPS. And finally, your payment information. You can choose PayPal or Stripe and complete your order. If you completed the order and you missed any of these fields, you will be prompted with an error. Once the order goes through, this will automatically redirect you to your client portal. It will automatically log you in, and you will receive confirmation emails as well. So once it redirects you to the client portal, there you will see your VPS, and you can access your VPS from there. So this page is the final step in the ordering process.
Okay, Aline. So that's like about 4 or 5 steps, if so much, yeah?
Correct.
Yeah. So it's very easy, guys, to subscribe to the services. Yeah. So there are 5 packages that we have. 3 are available right now. We are in the process of upgrading our VPS environment. As I will have said in the presentation, that's a responsibility that we have. We are increasing the resources inside there, and like I said, we're getting ready to offer the VPS GPUs for AI sandboxing. And so those other 2 packages, other packages will become available very soon, within the next 2 weeks or so. Yeah. So I think that brings us to the end of the formal part of the engagement this morning. I believe that we do have a question and answer. Yep. So that's it for us this morning. We want to open the floor now to participants. If anybody has any questions, what we can promise to do is if we do have the answers to your questions, we will attempt to do so amongst the team. If not, we do promise to take away the question and get back to you. We have your contact information. If we need to get some of the other team members involved, so I can provide a response, and we do anticipate being able to provide those responses over the next 2 days if we have to. So based on this morning's presentation, the floor is open. If you have any questions, you can raise your hand. I'll acknowledge you, and you can go ahead and ask your question. Don't be shy. We need at least one question for the morning. Great. Great. So we have Andy raising his hand. Yes, Andy.
Hello, good morning.
Hi, good morning.
All right, so my name is Andy. I'm a network administrator. Just excuse my voice this morning.
Sure.
I work at the Ministry of Rural Development.
Yes.
And this is a very interesting concept here that I was introduced to. Just one of the requests that I would have is if this could be sent, if this recording could be sent to my email so I could go through back the details, because it seems very interesting. The content seems very good, and it will help me to decide in the future, in investing in something as interesting as this.
Right. Thanks for that, Andy. So bear in mind that this is just the tip of the iceberg for us. So yeah, once we have your contact information, right? Once we have your contact information, we will share the slides. But more importantly for us is that we will probably reach out to you and have some further conversations. See if there's a lot more behind this that we can provide you with, to help you decide, what direction you may want to go in. We also do have visits that we can set up as well. So yeah, we will provide you with that information, not a problem. Let me recognize Ross.
Okay, thank you.
I hope you guys don't mind me calling you by your first name, right? Ross, you go ahead.
Hi, good morning. You mentioned as one of the advantages of using a local provider is that your data wouldn't be stored in a jurisdiction outside of Trinidad and Tobago.
Correct.
Then you also mentioned that in the future you plan to do data link, which is just other data centers in other region, the other services in the region, how would that affect that?
Yeah, so the data centers, that's a good question, Ross. The data centers that we're associated with are in Curacao and Suriname. And then, of course, there's one more data center in Trinidad that's signing up on that data center association. So we're still outside of the US and Europe. It's really a regional initiative, working with a data center in Curacao and a data center in Suriname. Good
Okay, thank
question. Yeah, very good question. I did not mention, and I should mention as well, that Airlink, we've got offices, we do have offices in the US, and we do have a presence at the map of the Americas. That presence, though, is more for our video services business, where we do take video feeds from various providers in the US, and we're able to bring that down to our data center and then put onto our cable channel network and provide to other operators. But we do have a presence at the map of the Americas. We have an office in Guyana, offices in Trinidad. We are doing business with providers in St. Eustatius and also in Grenada. So we do a lot. We do have a focus on regional initiatives as well as local initiatives. Great questions so far, guys. Anyone else has a question for us? It doesn't have to be a question. It could be an inquiry. It could be a comment. It could be feedback. In terms of the information that we've shared this morning, I appreciate that Andy says that this has got him thinking about things that he can do in the future. And this does not necessarily have to be a business engagement tool. I mean, if you've got a personal a need for a VPS service to run something that you have been thinking about doing, a small e-commerce site to sell, stuff that you make handicraft. I know someone who uses it to market his baking. So they do some, pretty decent cakes and stuff, and they use it to get themselves on the digital network and be able to market themselves in the digital realm and generate business out of that. I currently work with the Tennis Association of Trinidad and Tobago, and we're going to be using it to set up a system for coaches so that coaches can have online access not only to their credentials and demonstrate how they're keeping their credentials valid by undertaking courses and stuff, but logging where they do their coaching. So persons have a website that they can go to and find where these services are available in Trinidad. So believe me, the opportunity is very wide and vast to provide services in the digital world utilizing this technology. So we will give a 15-second pause again for any other further questions, and if not, good. We have Chandra. Hi, Chandra.
Sorry. So I had asked this, no, I was thinking about it, and maybe you have said it and I missed it. I think you have a very interesting offering that the Airlink is providing. I wasn't aware of the breadth and scope of it until today. So it's something, a very valuable takeaway for me, for sure. I wondered, I mean, you're a data center, you're going to be impacted by cybersecurity risk issues, and how are you dealing with that at all?
Yeah. So cybersecurity is baked into our DNA. From the inception of the data center, we have created a resilient environment, investing in the necessary firewall appliances, policies, procedures. We do have a response plan in place, and we do have monitoring taking place on all our systems, both internal as well as external monitoring. So we're able to get reports if when an attack starts to happen. We've moved from the forensic phase of cybersecurity to more the preventative phase of cybersecurity. So our systems, based on that monitoring, are able to tell us when we're getting or when we're experiencing attacks from wherever in the world, be it, DDoS attacks, any sort of infiltration that's taking place. Intrusion detection is very much active. And so we have to be that way, because it's not so much that we store client information at the data center, but rather the systems that provide the services are at the data center. And if those systems become compromised, then our services are going to be affected. And so that cybersecurity perspective, our security posture has always been baked into our DNA, and we have to keep ourselves resilient internally from local attacks, as well as from any attacks that come from wherever in the world. And it's constantly evolving, because, as you know, with the cybersecurity threats, they are also evolving on a daily basis. And so we have been able to keep ourselves abreast of these new attacks that are coming on, and the partners that we have been partnering with for external monitoring have also been keeping themselves up to date with the evolution, I should say, of the attacks that have been taking place.
And Ricardo, could I ask, with respect to assisting your clients to have a handle on this, do you all do that as well?
Yeah, so it's a service that we have been doing, but it's not a service that we have been offering commercially. And I'll explain. You would appreciate that when clients come to utilize data center services and they're running their operations, they may come without any knowledge of what they need to do in order to make themselves safe and secure and resilient. And we provide that consultancy just based on our expertise, our knowledge, and the fact that we do it for ourselves. So we may have conversations with them regarding what we do, and we advise on what they ought to do. That takes us into a particular service of managed cybersecurity that we are looking into, that may become a service that we offer, a commercial service that we offer out of the data center. But for now, we provide that as free consultancy to all of our clientele.
Thank you very much.
Okay. Thank you, Chandra, for the question. All right, ladies and gentlemen, I do know that we have time allocated. I believe it's an hour that we have, and we're close to that time. I do hope that this morning's presentation was informative. I'm hoping that it opened up some avenues of exploration for businesses that you may want to start yourselves, or businesses that you're involved in and want to capitalize on this technology. Virtual private server technology is not new, but it's becoming more and more of a requirement in the business world, simply because of the new way in which we operate. Everything is in the digital space. Everybody needs to have an online presence in order to be relevant. If your business is not transforming now, chances are it will not be able to survive in the next 3 to 5 years. And so we provide these technologies, enabling that customer or that SMB space to be able to stay relevant. I thank you for your attention. I thank you for the great questions. I want to thank the team this morning for putting together the webinar, putting together the presentation. Thank you, Aline, for the demonstration. We will make note of everyone who has attended, and those that haven't attended, we will still send them a recording of the webinar and any other ancillary information that we think may be relevant and may help in determining a way forward for everyone. So again, thank you for your presence this morning. Thank you for your attention. And look out for our third series coming soon. And just a teaser regarding the AI sandboxing, we will send out some more information regarding that. And so keep monitoring us. Please visit the website, airlinkdc.com. Go to our VPS section, and you can also look at the other services that we provide there. There are some educational YouTube videos there as well if you want to learn more about the technologies that we offer. So please utilize the resources. Thanks again. Have a good day, everybody, and see you all soon.